Larry Linam lost his 7-year-old daughter Gina here on a summer morning in 1980.
This is the monument they erected after everything kind of settled down.
Is this a place you come to sometimes, or?
No, I've not been here in years. The significance in that is it goes with me where I go. I don't have to come here.
He'd sent Gina off to Sunday service at First Baptist Church in downtown before heading around the corner to another church where he was singing in the choir.
Everything that happened in here on June the 22nd for about 31 seconds was awful. 31 seconds is all it took.
In the small town of Daingerfield, Texas this morning, a heavily armed man dressed in Army gear walked into a Baptist church, yelled, "This is war," and opened fire on the congregation.
When it was over, 4 people were dead, including a 7-year-old girl. At least 9 were wounded.
He was identified as Alan King III, a former math teacher.
Residents who knew King say he may have held a grudge against members of the congregation.
The killings in Daingerfield were a shock to the nation at the time. A mass shooting on a Sunday morning at church in quiet, small-town America. When it happened again this week, in eerily similar circumstances, it brought the past back to life and ripped open the kinds of wounds that never really heal.
I would let her ride her bicycle down this street right here.
Linam doesn't live in Daingerfield anymore. He can hardly bear to visit.
I would run through the woods watching her till she got right up here. Because I told her.
Just to make sure she was safe.
That's right.
Sounds like you have a very vivid memory of these scenes.
You don't know. These things are hard, but they need to be emphasized because there are parents, there are grandparents down south right now who are going to have to live with what I live with. And they're not going to get over it.
Do you remember what the first few days were like after the shooting for you?
I sat in a room waiting for a funeral. And I'm going to tell you, right now, those folks, those precious people down there in Sutherland Springs are being set up for the anger that's coming at them.
In spite of the darkness that came that day, this church continued on. Tragedy struck, but it's not permanent. It's not forever. We know what's forever.
In 1980, Steve Cowan was 30 years old, sitting in a middle pew when the gunman came through the sanctuary doors behind him. He was changed by the attacks too.
You know, I probably wouldn't be the district attorney today if it hadn't been for the church shooting. I probably would have remained in private practice, but I felt at the end of my career that maybe I could give back to the community somehow in a public way. In 1980, it was hard to perceive what happened. About to stand up to sing the final chapter of a hymn among your friends, and someone break in and holler, "This is war," and open fire on the congregation.
I pray for every one of those surviving victims, Lord.
But is it also a little discouraging to think it's been 37 years and here we are, right back here again?
It's very discouraging. But it's hard to be hopeful that this church shooting is going to be different than Newtown or Aurora, Colorado, or all the way back to Daingerfield. The NRA and the gun lobby are particularly strong opponents. It's only after things like this that people are even allowed to talk about it, and then they're criticized for being too soon.
Today, the room where the shootings took place is a fellowship hall, used for community events. And there's a brand new sanctuary, built with donated funds in the years after the attack.
These books are letters from different churches, different individuals, words of encouragement, and
Just starting a couple days after, maybe this is the...
yeah, it's June 27th, that is 5 days later. Yeah. and they kept every one of them.
The new pastor, Danny Broughton, has been getting a crash course in the church's history.
So I said, why not we encourage our church to do the same, to send letters to Sutherland Springs.
Did Sutherland Springs, you think it ripped open some wounds here again?
Yes. Every time it's brought up, every time it's discussed, it's done. Yeah, they relive it again. Grieving is hard to put a time limit on.
Yes, it's going to be hard. Yes, it's going to be lonely. And yes, it's going to anger you. But I am here to tell you that you're not going to get over it, but you are going to get through it.
Did you get a weapon after the church incident?
Oh, yes.
You got one because of that?
Yes.
Really? Do you carry it?
Yes. It's a beast. It's a .45.
And you carry that because of what happened at the church?
Yes.
How come?
I made myself a promise after I buried my daughter. I put my hand on her lifeless body. And I said to her, Daddy's going to make everything right. I've been asked many, many times, would I have killed Al King? I would take this .45, put it in the middle of his eyes, and pull the trigger. I don't think I feel that way today. But would I exact justice on him? In a heartbeat.